I think what's important to understand about our rookies, though, and you all see them, you all know them, they're not only really good players, they're really good people. And they will be the cornerstone with which we'll build and grow and develop this winning team. But I think it would be short-sighted to not just look at free agency, not just look at the draft.
From a business standpoint, you got a person who is one of the most popular people in the world at this point. And this conversation about what people are talking about, just trade them. The Browns aren't sure. The Browns aren't sure about this. Let me tell you what Jimmy Haslam is sure about. Jimmy Haslam, you don't get to be a billionaire by being a dummy. You don't get to be a billionaire without understanding some aspects of business. Shedeur Sanders, let me just say this. It does not matter what any of these quarterbacks do, ever. Anybody you draft will not have the interest level, will not have the fan base, will not have the presence, the charisma, and they don't even have the skill set. So as a businessman, you just sat there and watched this dude in 3 weeks drop dime after dime after dime after dime with no surrounding roster, with no reps. And you also watch the numbers in the market and the marketplace and how many jerseys it done sold. And you watch the number of fans that are interested. And you watch how many people want to see the football games and how he has a global fan base. Why would any business owner in their world not attach themselves to that? It's the reciprocation process.
The Cleveland Browns just made a move that changes everything for Shedeur Sanders' future. In owner Jimmy Haslam's words, today might have revealed the franchise's true plan. While everyone's focused on Kevin Stefanski getting fired, Haslam dropped a bombshell about the rookies Andrew Berry drafted. And if you read between the lines, this is the biggest vote of confidence Shedeur could have gotten. The GM who personally picked Shedeur just got a lifeline, while the coach who benched him got the boot. Coincidence? Not even close. What Haslam said about these rookies being really good people and the cornerstone of the team's future might have just cemented Shedeur's path to becoming Cleveland's franchise quarterback. Look, when breaking news hits the NFL, you have to pay attention to what's said, and more importantly, what's not said. Today, the Browns held press conferences that on the surface seemed routine. Kevin Stefanski's out, Andrew Berry stays. Simple, right? Wrong. Because buried in those statements was a message so clear that anyone paying attention can see exactly where this franchise is headed with Shedeur Sanders. Let me break it down for you the way nobody else is talking about it, because trust me, the mainstream media is completely missing the plot here.
Then I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts at the end of this video, so let's keep this train rolling.
I think we saw a lot of progress with Shedeur this year. I think that's both mentally and physically playing the position. He's still very much a work in progress, like many rookie quarterbacks are. But I think we saw some really good things in terms of his playmaking, his accuracy, his ability to stand his feet. And I think I also give him credit.
First things first, Andrew Berry, the general manager who handpicked Shedeur Sanders in the draft, just spoke publicly about the rookie QB and what he said should have every Shedeur supporter feeling vindicated right now. Berry went on record saying he saw a lot of progress with Shedeur this year, both mentally and physically. He praised Shedeur's playmaking ability, his accuracy, and his knack for extending plays with his feet. But here's where it gets really interesting. Berry specifically gave credit to Shedeur for his pocket management and situational awareness. Think about that. Those are veteran-level qualities. We're talking about a rookie QB barely getting first-team reps in the offseason, being praised for pocket awareness and reading the field. Berry knows exactly what he's seeing. This isn't just GM speak to defend his draft pick. This is a guy who watches film every single day, who knows what it takes to succeed at quarterback in this league. And he's telling you straight up, Shedeur showed him something real this season. Now, Berry did admit Shedeur is still very much a work in progress, like most rookies, and that's fair, that's honest, but let's not ignore the context. What rookie QB wouldn't be a work in progress thrown into the chaos of the 2025 Cleveland Browns? No consistent offensive line, no clear offensive identity, and a head coach who refused to give him a legitimate shot at the starting job from day one. Shedeur was set up to fail, and somehow Somehow, he still found ways to flash brilliance. Barry also mentioned they're going to explore the market at quarterback. And yeah, that probably sent some people into panic mode. But here's what you need to understand. That's exactly what every NFL team says when they're not locked into a franchise QB yet. It's standard procedure. The real story isn't that they're exploring options. The real story is that Barry couldn't hide his respect for what Shedeur accomplished, despite all the chaos around him. But wait, it gets even better when you hear what Jimmy Haslam had to say. Haslam stood up today and defended his decision to keep Andrew Barry as GM. And the way he did it, you really need to read between the lines. Haslam didn't just talk about Barry's moves in general. He got specific. He talked about the draft class. He talked about how they added 4 really good players who made all rookie teams. He mentioned Carson Beck having a legitimate shot at Defensive Rookie of the Year. And then Haslam said something that should make every Shedeur fan sit up and take notice. He said, and I'm quoting, "What's important to understand about our rookies, though, they're not only really good players, they're really good people, and they will be the cornerstone with which we'll build, grow, and develop this winning team." The cornerstone. Think about that. Haslam just told you these rookies, including Shedeur Sanders, are the foundation. They're not temporary pieces, not stopgaps. They're the cornerstone. That's franchise-altering language, and he said it with his whole chest. Now, some people might say, well, he was talking about all the rookies, not just Shedeur. Sure, technically, but let's be real. When you're talking about building a winning team in the NFL, what's the most important position? Quarterback. Always has been, always will be. You don't build a championship contender without your QB figured out. So when Haslam says these rookies are the cornerstone, he's essentially telling you the quarterback position is part of that foundation. And who's the only quarterback in that rookie class? Exactly.
Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski was the dead weight of this football team. He was the reason why Shedeur Sanders was struggling in the first place because he wasn't giving him first team reps. He wasn't giving him a true 4-way QB battle. It was just bad. And so in 2026, I expect different. I expect more positivity.
But here's where this story takes an even more interesting turn. And this is what nobody's really connecting yet. Haslam made it a point to emphasize that these rookies aren't just good players, they're good people. He kept repeating it, really good person, quality person. He talked about Malik Collins being a leader. He praised Dustin Hopkins for pushing through early struggles. He highlighted Tyson Campbell playing through injury when the team was just trying to win their 5th game, not even fighting for a playoff spot. Why does this matter? Because in Cleveland, there's been a culture problem for years, decades actually. Talented players came through who either didn't fit, caused locker room issues, or couldn't handle the pressure of being a Brown. Haslam is sending a crystal clear message. The character of these rookies matters just as much as their talent. And when you look at Shedeur Sanders, what do you see? A kid who handled being benched with class. A quarterback who never complained publicly about not getting first-team reps. A leader who earned the respect of his teammates despite being thrown into an impossible situation. Haslam called these rookies really good people multiple times. That's not an accident. That's not throwaway coach speak. That's the owner of the franchise telling you exactly what he values. And Shedeur Sanders embodies every quality he's describing. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Kevin Stefanski getting fired while Andrew Barry stays. What does that tell you? It tells you that ownership recognized where the real problem was. Stefanski had control over how the quarterback situation was handled during the season. We wanted a real competition. We wanted him to get first-team reps. We wanted him to have an actual chance to prove himself without a coach who already made up his mind. And now, with Stefanski gone and a new coaching staff coming in, Shedeur is going to get exactly that. He'll walk into 2026 with a full year of NFL experience under his belt, 7 real games facing actual NFL defenses, proving he belongs. He'll have chemistry with his receivers. He'll understand the speed of the game. He'll have the entire fan base behind him because they've already seen what he can do when given an opportunity. Any quarterback they bring in won't have those advantages. They'll be learning a new system, building rapport with new teammates, and trying to win over a fan base that's already fallen for Shedeur. The competition won't be rigged this time because the coach who was rigging it is gone. Barry made it clear Shedeur is still developing, and that's exactly what you want to hear from a GM. He's not overhyping, he's not promising what he can't deliver, he's being realistic about where Shedeur is in his growth, while also praising the real progress he's made. That's how you build a quarterback. That's how you develop a franchise player.
Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round when you already have a plethora of quarterbacks to go along with it.
Chris, one of the questions I got during the break on PFTPM was to identify all the quarterbacks throughout the league who are on the hot seat this year.
Yeah.
And for Cleveland, I said all of them. There's a chance all of them will be gone next year or not in position to start. I mean, with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, they have slotted rookie contracts that make them very affordable. They could be there as a backup, but to the extent any of them that play this year...
And Haslam just told the entire organization and every Browns fan watching that these rookies, these really good people who will be the cornerstone of the team, are untouchable. They're the foundation. Everything else gets built around them. Here's what people don't get about Cleveland. This franchise has been hunting for a quarterback for 3 or 4 decades. They've tried everything. First-round picks that busted, free agent signings that failed, trades that blew up in their faces. Desperation ruled the decisions, and it showed. But something changed this year. They drafted Shedeur Sanders, and even though the situation around him was a mess, he gave them something they hadn't felt in years: hope. You could feel it in the stadium when Shedeur played. You could hear it in how teammates talked about him. You could see it in the way fans rallied around him, even when things looked darkest. That's not something you can manufacture. That's not something you can fake. Shedeur brought life to a franchise that's been on life support for decades, and ownership knows it. So when Haslam talks about building around rookies who are really good people, when Barry praises Shedeur's progress, when Stefanski gets fired while the GM who drafted Shedeur keeps his job, you don't need to be a genius to connect the dots. The Browns have found their guy. They might not say it outright yet. They might explore other options to be thorough, but the writing's on the wall. Shedeur Sanders is about to get every opportunity to prove he's the franchise quarterback Cleveland has been searching for. No more excuses, no more being held back by coaches who don't believe, no more watching from the sidelines while mediocre veterans get chance after chance. The kid who was dealt a terrible hand and still beat Hall of Fame quarterbacks is finally going to get the fair shot he's deserved all along. And honestly, that should terrify the rest of the AFC North. Because if Shedeur plays with a real offensive line, a coaching staff that actually believes in him, and a full off-season of first-team reps, the Browns may have finally solved their decades-long search for the most important position in football. Now, the biggest question is this: should the Browns go all in on Shedeur as their franchise quarterback, or bring in a veteran to compete with him? And be honest, after everything we've seen this year, who really deserves the starting job more? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is about to get heated over the next few months. If you want to stay ahead of every update on Shedeur's journey to becoming Cleveland's franchise quarterback, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll cover every move this organization makes, every word spoken about Shedeur, and every development as this story unfolds. Make no mistake, this is just the beginning.